Alrighty. So I am live here on this brand new channel. Thank you very much. I hope everybody can hear me and see me okay. Um, so, by way of introduction, my name is Heather, um, Heather Dewey Pettit, in a lot of circles. And I am a writer, editor, and artist. Um, let's see. And um, as a writer, in the last several years, my focus has been primarily on writing fiction, but I do love um, the occasional personal essay. Anyway, um, so yes, my main focus in terms of writing is I love fantasy and science fiction. So basically, that's what ties all three of those things together. And so yeah, so I also am a freelance editor, but here on this channel, I will be focused mostly on my art. So um, so I thought I would have a live stream, and sort of practice talking about my art, and because I have some events coming up, including closing the door. Sorry. So I have some events coming up next weekend. Not this coming, but the following weekend. I will be at Necronomicon Tampa, here in Tampa Bay, which is actually Florida's oldest con, and it's nonprofit, and it has an art show. So I've been bringing art to Necro, as we like to call it, um, since approximately 2016, and I have so much fun, you guys, at this con. Um, One of the things I'm doing this year is I'm going to be on a panel called Mixed Media Madness. So yeah, because somebody had pitched this panel, and they do mixed media, and so do I. And there's going to be a couple other people on this panel. Um, One of whom I know locally. She's a writer and artist, and then another person will be on this panel, who is active in the author tube community. So anyway, I do have a few samples here on my art desk. Um, um, to give you sort of an idea. So this is watercolor. This was done with watercolor pencils, and just it was kind of just a quick sketchy thing. Some trees on the side, but that was just a little quick thing. That is featuring a stamp by Lavinia Stamps. On this channel, you will see that I love I love Lavinia Stamps, because B, I love fantasy, and so here's another little sample. It uh, wasn't the greatest design, but of mine, but it does feature some really awesome Lavinia stamps that I really like using. Um, and isn't that I love this tree stamp. It's called Druids and some fairies gathering at evening. Whoops, at evening tide. So yeah, I love fantasy, and I love Lavinia stamps. This is another Lavinia stamp. Anyway, so and so let's see. One thing I will say really quickly is that a lot of my finished art, this is not finished art, obviously. They're just panels, but I do have some finished art on a on an rather in an Etsy shop. And that's just Heather Dewey Pettit. If you want to take a look, I can pop a link in there in the chat. That is, I do have this, but it does seem to be working, I do believe. Oh, let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and see about doing some things, because I do have some some things I want to finish that I had started. And a couple things I wanted to reproduce. So where is that? I seem to have mislaid a stamp pad. I also really like working with, Ranger products. This was made with some Ranger products, some Distress Oxide, Twisted Citron. This is a spiced marmalade. And this one is Villainous Potion. And and what I did here specifically was that I did not use a gel press, but I would like to work with a gel press in a little bit. But in this case, instead of rolling the ink onto a gel press with a brayer, I inked directly with my brayer, back and forth, blending, and then I added water, let it dry, and Bob's your uncle. I won't be using a. Let me finish this off. I think I went back and added a little bit of sparkle to the to her wand. Her name is Willow the Witch, and she does have a cauldron. And I'm going to be making a couple others because there's a few things there are a few issues with that. So I'm going to make a couple more of those, and I would also like to show what I do with my gel presses. So yeah, let me see here. So that said, let me grab. Let's see. I do have I've got some cardstock ones here, which I did not use. So let me grab here we go, watercolor bookmark base. I do love making bookmarks, which that does kind of make sense. But for me, for obvious reasons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reproduce that real quick in the background. Need a roller brayer for how I did it. You can also use a for something similar. You can use and if you don't have a brayer, you can use something like this. You could use a makeup sponge. That would work as well. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do this time. On there. All right, I just kind of dabbed it on a piece of paper, and I'm going to work in circular motions. And let's see here. So I'm just blending it on smoothly. I'm going in circles. I hope, by the way, while I'm doing this, I would love by the end of the year, I hope to have paid streaming software so that I can show you a little bit better how I'm doing this. But I'm also going back and forth a little bit, but mostly I'm going in circular motions here. Some more. Oops, there we go. So I am working on some copy paper. You could also use a brush if you'd like, and a brush like this. You could use a makeup brush that's not been used. These are actually based on makeup brushes. This is by Hero Arts. If you want a more subtle look or more blended look, but in this case it doesn't really matter because I will be spritzing water on to make it look excuse me, to give that to give this look here. So here's where I am so far. So but this is it's a slower process when you do it this way. When you brush it on, especially unless you want to achieve something that's more blended and controlled like that. So it has a more blended look. But if you use the brayer, see what's on there. Okay, it's got this same ink. When you use the brayer, move something out of the way. Let's see. Okay. Moving this back. I kind of have limited space here. But this is opened up. Anybody who oops, I put my finger in that, didn't I? That's all right. It's all right. Things can be fixed in art. And the application goes a lot smoother. Not necessarily smoother, but a lot quicker for sure when you have a brayer. Right. But again, it doesn't have to be anything because of what I will be doing with the water. Okay. I'm just going to add just a little bit more. Two parts. Let's see. I'm going to start at the top and pull down. And then I'm going to blend it sideways. Oh, sorry. Got a notification. I have to turn that off. Apologies. Okay, that'll work for now. Okay, now, let me see here. Wipe my fingers off a bit. Get some witch hazel. And just kind of wipe that off on some copy paper. There we go. Work. Covering that back up. And I'm going to roll that off. Get rid of some of that. I'm going to flip this over. Okay. I'm going to apply the spiced marmalade now. There. and apply that in the middle. I'm just kind of going slowly here. Kind of want it to blend a little bit. So it's kind of going to look a little bit like, well, anyway, it's just the just some Halloweeny colors anyway. So I'm kind of doing it how I made that one. I made that last night. So that is a lot of spice marmalade. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that off. And I'll probably use that for something later. That's what's great about these products. And about doing things like this is that it's forgiving. I do like art that is very forgiving. So I'm putting the green on the bottom. I kind of rolled a little bit on like that, and then I'm going to go from side to side to blend it a bit, because that's really how I did that last night. And I just kind of kept applying and rolling it over the top. I mean, rolling it in to blend. And I had more on the sides and the bottom, just to sort of make it look a little bit like some ground. So just taking it to the edges a little bit too. I'm doing a corner, kind of going like that. Making it go into the corners. And they will sort of blend together. Just adding a little bit more to one side of this brayer. And just, oops. So I did get a little bit of orange on the bottom, but it's not a big deal because this is going to be a very like I said, an artsy fartsy card with all the splooshes and splashes of water. Speaking of which, I am in need of a sprayer, which I for some reason I don't have, but this is where I'm at right now. So I'm going to roll that off. I'm actually relatively new to gel presses and using a brayer. But I am falling in love with this Ranger distress brayer. It is really great. I'm going to adjust this momentarily, and I'm going to step away momentarily. One sec. So if you're making art, feel free to take a break for a moment. Take a sip of your coffee, whatever you are. If you're having a snack, some people like to, when they make art, they like to, have a snack or something. Okay. Okay. I also have my stamping ink. I really love using this stamping ink by, VersaFine Claire, which is made by, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I believe it's Susenko. It is really a vivid, they make very vivid inks. I also grabbed one of my gel presses. So because I wanted to do something similar during this stream with this particular gel press, this is a 4-inch circle, and I thought that would make a really great background for a card. So I'm going to go ahead and start spritzing and see if I can get this to move around. And again, this is watercolor papers, and this is watercolor paper, so it's going to so the surface is slightly it's slightly it's got a little bit of VersaFine Claire. Turn on my finger somehow, probably because I was using it earlier actually. Anyway, I'm going to get started on this, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. And because it's watercolor paper, it will do this. It will buckle slightly. Well, it is curling, but that's because it's very thin watercolor paper. It's only 90-pound watercolor paper by Canson. So yes, it's already starting to move really good, really well, I should say. We want it to look like that. It's fine. It can drip into each other. That kind of looks very mysterious and very, very Halloweeny. I will pick something that's absorbent. Oh, I like this. Just to pick up a little bit of this. And to lift, because what I did last time was I had a little just used a cool, very Halloweeny, huh? So I'm gonna let that dry. So after it's dry, then I will stamp on it. All right. So one thing I will do while that dries is I'm going to put the lid back on the green. One thing I really like about these is that they stack. Isn't that great? Takes up a lot less space on on my work surface. All right. So that set, the stamp set with this witch, her name is Willow the Witch, comes with cauldron. So isn't that great? So you can make the cauldron go right under her hand. It's really great. That's just what I did. All right. Now, while that's drying, I can actually go ahead and repeat that process. The last one I used was orange. Apply, just go ahead and apply whatever is left on there. Okay, to my 4-inch round gel press. Because I wanted to make a bigger piece. So I'm going to do that with this piece of paper here, this piece of watercolor paper. That I started to do something on one side. The great thing is that since I did not do anything with that, I'm going to use the other side instead. Okay. Which is actually the smoother side anyway, so that is great. So that should be a good size to use. A little something on this gel press. I'm just going to see if I can get that off there. Don't want that there. So I'm going to just kind of clean that off just a little bit here, actually. There we go. Alrighty. I do apologize for my voice. I am getting over something. Okay. So, yeah, so while I'm kind of waiting for that to dry and waiting for this gel press to dry a little bit because I had to clean it off a little bit. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So, so like I say, I am hoping to move to the StreamYard Pro by the end of the year. That way I can multi-stream, and I can stream to no, I mean, excuse me. That way I can do more things. I can have a second camera. So I'm looking to doing that, like say at the beginning of the year. Okay. Now, I just don't like leaving my my inks open because of things, because of issues. I don't want to knock anything over and things like that. But anyway, so inking up the brayer here. I'm only going to ink up a portion of it actually, because I think that works pretty well. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just applying it like this in a similar way. There's other ways you can do this too. You can use, you can do similar, you can have basically similar effects with items like this little piece of acrylic I'm using for this to get a similar effect. Yesterday evening, I made this with this and that circle gel press. With just the green and the purple, just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do. And I applied water again to get that oxidation effect. And you know what that also makes me think of is is the Death Star. You could sort of make your own Death Star using a gray color. Honestly, you could. And that would look vaguely like the Death Star. Let's see. So yeah, I got my first brayer. So I do like that this does have feet, and that way I don't have to disturb the. But I do have this other one. So and it works. It's just very large. But that's fine. Let's see. I think do I want only 2 colors, or do I want All three. I think I want all three, actually. So I just have to be a little bit, make sure I'm not, there, that's probably enough. Okay, there we go. All right. So because I don't have much on there, just gonna go, this time I'm going to just go right on top a bit of the green so that they do blend pretty well. But the only problem with that is I am removing some of the green, but that will look really cool on something. So I'm going to save that, get that out of the way. And then I'm going to go back just a little bit with the green. And let's see. I'm going to use that on a different piece just to use that up. For a bit of for another item, another bookmark. Okay, that way I am not wasting ink if I can help it. Okay, but I'm gonna get rid of some of that so I can apply the purple. Excuse me. All right. Excuse me. All right. Okay. Just wanted to get rid of a bit more. And then I'm going to put some of the bonus potion on there. Apply to the other end. The top, I'm calling it. Oops. Okay. But if I want, I can just remove a small amount. Just with a little paper. Okay. So I would say that's pretty well applied. So again, putting lid on it, getting that out of the way. All right. Putting this back down and make sure my hands are clean. My piece of watercolor paper. But remember before you put it down to apply the water. Okay. And I'm going to move a few things out of the way so I don't get them wet. And I'm just using an old bottle that I'm repurposing. I made sure to wash it really well. It was this pump is exactly like the Ranger distress sprayer top. So anything to make it frugal for me. So I'm applying a lot of water. And I'm going to pop this down. What I might do is do it the other way around, where, let's see, what I'm going to do is, hold on one moment, move a few things out of the way here. Okay, because I have this, just an old, well, it's not that old, but anyway, it's just a stamp. I mean, yeah, I'm using it like a stamp pad, uh, but it's a mouse pad. So flip this back over. Actually, get a fresh one. Fresh sheet of paper. All right. It's not moving because I've been using all of these. Just trying to reuse them. Okay. Now, it's had a chance to really sit there, but I'm going to apply just a little bit more water, I think, to the orange especially. Do I have enough orange? In a way, I feel like I don't, but it's probably fine. Okay, I'm going to try it. Here we go. So, oh, let's see, because I was going to actually use it like a stamp. So I'm going to turn it over so I can see through and place it where I want on the watercolor paper. You can position it, you can turn it, and all those things. Push down, and it's very flowy when you do it this way. And I like that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you can see what I can see. Isn't that pretty cool? Right. Okay, and I push down really good. So again, this is what I see. So I'm going to peel off the paper, and that's what you get. So isn't that cool? What I might do is add just a little bit more water to this very top, just to make that move. I think it's getting low on water. But very cool, huh? And so yeah, I do like this technique. Just gonna drop water on there, or two, and again, let it sit for a few seconds, and I'm just gonna dab that with my sponge. There, I like that a little bit better, and I'm just gonna let that dry. And I think that would be a nice background for maybe the same stamp. I think the Willow the Witch stamp. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think I might actually make a duplicate of that. And let's see. I will do that later. So other things I wanted to do. Oh, here is the one that I rolled off the green earlier. That looks pretty cool, I think. That's a nice little looks like a meadow. Um, but what I can do here is keep going with the because I might be able to actually make another print with this. I'm going to add just a little bit more purple to this gel press. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to grab a watercolor journal here. Sorry, I forgot to turn off notifications on my phone. So sorry, guys. There we go. Apologies. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing just to see what that does, just to see what that might look like. And then with two colors, I'm going to add just a little bit, just to tap a little bit of that on one side. Okay. Just actually going to remove just a little bit and give some texture to the ink I'm applying here. And a little bit of water, green part. Oops, did I break it? Let's see. Let's make sure I'm using the back, which is a smoother surface. I'm just popping this down just like a stamp. Just want that to look a little bit more organic. Oh, I saw some hard edges, which I did not want. All right. Some of that mixed a little bit and blended together. So this will be this will be interesting to see how this looks. Well, the thing about gel press prints is you never know what you're going to get. This might work for something. Might possibly. I could also take a wet, a wet brush, like a watercolor brush. I did neglect to put some water in this, but you know what? I can take this off the water. It's very handy for this. So you can take a wet brush and just move that around a little bit if you want. That's what I'm doing with the green. Just so you can see, and you can also here, something there. You can also do it this way, where you can actually use it like paint, which is really cool. Literally, you can pick it up from the stamp pad and just dot it on organically. And I think it kind of looks like a moon. I have made gel prints with colors that do make these prints look like planets or moons. I have some things like that. That does add a little bit more color to the edge, especially, and then just kind of moving it around a little bit too. And just defining the edge a little bit more. And I can do the same thing with the purple, where I can make that move where it's not quite so rigid. So I'm applying a little bit of water just to make that not look so much like a Petri dish, but you don't have to. So just making it move. I just wanted it to look a little bit more like watercolor, and I just didn't put enough water on. So that makes it move and behave like watercolor a little bit more. So, yeah. And now I'm just going to make these blend a little bit right in there. There. I think I'm relatively happy with that, how that looks. All right. It kind of looks like a moon or a planet or something. So there's that. So there's that technique I wanted to show as well. So these are the sorts of things I will be taking with me to Necronomicon Tampa. Yeah, I think that that's definitely dry enough to work with. I think I'm going to stamp Will of the Witch on here. And the only thing I need to do with this, and again, I made the base last night, and I stamped her on her cauldron this morning, and I added a little bit of color to her wand. And all I got to do is punch it, and Bob's your uncle, right? And I think I'm gonna put some things, make some bubbles come out of her cauldron. And I think a really good thing to do that with, you could use something like this and some ink or some pastels or something like that. I have misplaced my pastels, but you could also do a lifting technique like I showed you. Because it is distress oxide, I have these makeup eyeshadow applicators. I didn't buy them for eyeshadow. um, got them because I wanted to use them for crafting. So, let's see, or something. Anyway, I can apply this with water in a circular motion to create a bubble. And September 29th, 1980. And then my plan was to go back through see, I'm removing more of that orange there. So that there's a little like something going on around the top of the cauldron. So this is another idea, just taking something like this to create some circles. Let them sit for a second. And then blotting that. And then another thing I wanted to do was take something to put some shadows underneath Willow and her cauldron. So you could do a variety of things. You could take, this might work. I've got an black embossing pen. I think that'll work pretty well for underneath her. And I did want to fix her bottom of her dress because it didn't stamp that well. Again, this is watercolor paper, so sometimes the stamping won't be it's a bumpy paper, so. And I wanted to go back over her there, and then I wanted to give her a little shadow. So I'm gonna apply water because it's ink. You can also say take some watercolor paint. That will work as well. It will work very much the same. Let's do that. And a little bit of black. So that's what I like to do. I like to store my watercolor paints in. So this is the lid, and this was a sewing disc that was remodeled, repurposed into a vanity. But I don't use it for that. So I store all my watercolors in here. I have like a little organizer where I have all my gouache together. I have which is just in tubes. I have things that I like to use with my watercolors. I've got like packs of silica from buying clothes and such, and bags and such. So that's where I keep my watercolors as well. And I've got some brush show in here. And that reminds me, that's one thing I would really like to show you guys. My plan was to be live today from 2 to 4. I neglected to mention that. Let's see. Just moving some things around so I can, there we go, get to my black watercolor paints here. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to touch that in there. Just barely. A little bit under the cauldron. Okay. Let's click it. There we go. That'll work. Just trying to make this as easy as I can make it. There we go. All right, that can go in there for a sec. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the bit that I made like that. So now set that there. Get my versifying clear. So basically, I'm this is kind of a demo, but it's also things that I wanted to do to take with me again to my con. Some Halloweeny things, but mostly it's going to be I have a lot of things like I showed you earlier, fairies and dragons and things like that. Okay, open that up. Getting a willow. And this is how I apply ink to my stamps. Highly recommend if you don't do it this way. There, I think actually this time she's a little bit better inked. Okay, I don't want to put too much on either, but I think that will work out very well. Let's see. I'm going to stamp her a little bit to the left, not in the exact middle, because I want room to put the cauldron. And I thought, and basically it's a bit better design. Okay, and because this is watercolor paper, I have to let it sit, let it rest, let it absorb into the paper. And pushing all over the stamp to make sure that some people might take a brayer over the back of it, over the back of the acrylic. This is not acrylic that that was made for this, but it works well for this purpose. I'm going to stand up because I do that sometimes, especially when I'm working with, again, watercolor paper. That'll work. That's okay. And there she is. I think that looks pretty good, actually. I do love Lavinia stamps very much. They have such finely detailed stamps. And yeah, I missed a little bit of the hem of her dress, but that's okay because I can do what I did earlier and just kind of add to it with something like this because, whoops, um, because this is essentially the same kind of ink as this ink here that she's stamped with. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. Yeah, her hand looks better in this version. I was going to go back over on the first one. I did want a little bit of guide. And so I'm just going to dot it on because it's so easy to overdo it. Trust me. I've done this before. So, but I do like working with watercolor paper. So she's got her pinky. I want to make sure I get her pinky. Ring finger. It's a little longer. So I'm just dotting it on. There, that's a few more dots just to make sure that it's not, doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary. And that's better already. Yes. So I'm going to add a little bit more to her other hand. And her arm. So anything that I don't sell at Necronomicon Tampa in the art show, I am going to put in my Etsy shop. For anybody who might be watching live or the replay that know me from my writing channel, know that I in my Etsy shop. I'll pop that in the comments. I'll pop a link in the comments in a moment. Just making her stand out a little bit more, especially on that other arm, just to make her pop a little bit. Because again, sometimes when you're working with watercolor paper, it's bumpy, right? And it's fine if the front of her is lighter because it's highlighting, right? So part of what I was going to say about my Etsy shop is that the tagline I have is art for writers and lovers of fantasy and sci-fi. So, again, that I'm trying to tie in everything that I do with my art. So again, I'm dotting it on. but I'm dotting it on mostly in the back, down her back, down the profile. And anyway, that will be darker because the because the more things around the cauldron. Let's see if I can lift that up more. Give it some I'll be playing with that some more. But yeah, I think that will work for now. I'll go back to her later. So anyway, um, I don't have to do as much work on her on uh, the card panel, but I'm going to fix this part of her dress because it didn't quite stand that great. So I'm just going to fix that very quickly. Stand for a little guidance here. But the lady that draws all the art for the Lavinia stamps, she does a wonderful job, I think. All right, that works. I think that'll work. Okay, it's fine. Except I think I might just kind of do a little bit of what I did earlier on like the back side of her arm and along her back, just to create a little more depth and create it darker, make everything darker there, just to kind of know where her hat is. I could also make some highlights on the front of, on her front. So I might be doing that. That makes me think I might do that. So I know this stream was in a way, kind of unannounced. But and but it was something that I had toyed with the idea of doing on my writing channel, but I just wanted to start doing things here actually. After a lot of thought, I had created this channel mostly to get my art video watching in here and to have everything separate from my from my other things to as they say, the audience stuff. keep your audience in mind on all of that. So I think that does give her a little bit more depth. And I might leave her as is. So I can sort of move on. So anyway, so because this is basically the same stuff, you can also use this to apply directly to a stamp if you really wanted, or you could use it with a stencil, or you could handwrite stuff. So yeah, so they're great, and I have a clear one as well. Yeah, or they're really great for fixing things. So yeah, comes in really handy. Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, I think I will actually go ahead and stamp the cauldron right below her hand. So again, I like to apply ink by tapping. It's highly recommended. It's a little bit more right there. Oh, there we go. To make sure it's well inked without putting too much on. That's a trick. Okay. There. Okay. Now. Okay. So I'm going to put that as close to being under her hand as possible. Without getting in the way of her shawl or whatever that is. I guess it's part of her dress. Looks like she designed the shawl so it wouldn't get too in the way. That's very clever. Tracy, what's her name? Tracy Dutton. Tracy Dutton, the design, the artist that draws all of the stamps. She's a brilliant artist. I learned some of these techniques through watching the Lavinia Stamps YouTube channel, and some artists that use the stamps, the Lavinia stamps, use some of those techniques. Again, I'm just letting it rest a little bit because it's watercolor paper. Okay. All right. I really like how that looks. What I think I'm going to do this time, instead of using black for shadow, I think it's not exactly straight, but that's fine. I can make like a little hill, and I'm going to do that with this fan brush, which I've done before, with the same Stress Oxide ink. Again, it's called Twisted Citron. And I'm going to just apply it. Just pop this in here. I'm going to dampen it slightly. Okay. And pop it on there on the ink pad. And just kind of create a little hill for it to sit on. And I also wanted to make that darker anyway, so that's like a built-in shadow anyway, right? I sort of make it look a little bit like grass there. So, yes. I also could have used different technique to make a little hill here or something. But I thought that was a good idea because it can look like grass, tops of grass that can sit on. Lifting up a little bit, make it look like grass. And do the same thing under Willow here. Bringing it down instead of up from on this part. Yeah, bring it up too, because I want it to look like grass. I'm gonna put another little hill behind her. There, that's not too bad, I think. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I might not do anything as far as the for anything coming out of the cauldron, but I do want to add some kind of color to the actual to it itself, because there's a lot of the other colors are coming through. So I'm gonna go back to my black watercolor paint, I think. Since I don't have immediate access to my my gray um distress oxide, which is called, I just had it in my head a minute ago. It's called there, I don't need much at all. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'll remember it. Just going to apply just a little bit to both sides of the rim and just kind of apply just a small amount to the detail there. Just a small amount. Oops, okay, that might be a little too much. I just want to go too overboard with it. There, just wanted to make it look kind of gray. Look like an old cast iron pot. There. I like it. That'll work. All right. I'm happy with how that looks. I could, even if I really wanted, I could splatter some of this. Make it look like stars on the top. I could maybe put a little bit of white, use a white paint pen and splatter it through the, over the whole thing maybe, or just over the purple to make it look like nighttime. If I really wanted, if one wanted to do that, that would work. Anyway, I'm very happy with how that looks, and I will be applying that, putting that on a card after everything dries. Well, let's see, I have 24 past the hour of 3. So I've been going since 2 o'clock, a little past. My apologies for starting a little bit late, but let's see. Is there anything else I would like to mention? So yes, to anybody watching this very first art stream here, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm pretty new to art streaming, and again, I don't have a top-down view right now, so pardon me. So my apologies for that, but that is coming soon. Mostly, I just wanted to introduce myself, and I will keep going because again, there's some things I want to do. So I'm going to cut a string to go with that because that will be punched. I think I would like to use. So again, you could use like a detail tool like this to make circles to go on top of the cauldron for bubbles. If you would like, you could apply pan pastel in white. In that way. I keep going back to that idea for those. So some other things I'm going to do later today, is I'm going to I did something similar with distress oxides, and and I used a let's see, I used a stamping board to make this. I made this a while back, but I'm going to apply this to a card. So I was going through some stuff recently, and it was something a lot like this, but it was made with 4 Lavinia stamps, just a slightly different one. So that's what I mean by you can use things like materials like this, little acrylic sheets like this, to get similar effects. And that is, I think that's a combination of colors. I do believe it is another a different green. It's a very light green, shabby shutters, and I think it might be just shabby shutters. I might have something else in there too, but so that is a card that I'm going to put together. This is another Lavinia stamp, actually, called Zealith. I'd think about that. And isn't Zealith a beautiful dragon? I think she's brilliant. So I'm going to finish putting that together. I do believe on the same day, I do believe that this was created, the background for this card. And this was pretty recently stamped and colored on to that. There, I think it looks like I've got some brown going on there too. Yes, I think with both of these, there is a bit of vintage photo used as well. And I just colored over the top of that with, I used, I used just colored pencils. And I decided to leave that as is and not add anything else, but it is a brilliant stamp. Again, that's Lavinia stamp as well. It, I mean, the level of detail in the stamp, I absolutely love it. I've used it in a couple of the projects, including that little design that I showed you earlier. Oops. Um, this is on watercolor paper. So it does reproduce pretty well on watercolor paper. Again, you just have to let it rest. So yeah, I'm going to be um, um, assembling those cards. I've got some envelopes all ready to go. I'll be doing that too. Um, I'll be doing that too as well today. Um, so yeah. Anything else I really, really wanted to show? And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Um, let me go ahead and pop my Etsy and my link tree into the chat. Let's see. In let me just pop that in there too, just to make sure everything is working. I don't have my mouse with me. I'm trying to make sure this is working well. Oh, let's see. Let me just make sure that that is working. Bring the commands. You know what? Hold on one moment and I will be right back. Alrighty. So anyway, my link tree is in the chat. Um, and within Linktree are my Etsy and my Coffee, as well as some other things. My other two channels and some other things. I do have a Substack that and I sometimes talk about my art there. Um, so let's see. Let me get a direct link for you to my Etsy. What happened? That's very strange. No. Here we are. Alrighty. And I will pop that in the chat here so that that is there just in case anybody wants to check that out. Also, maybe what I'll do super quick is share my screen so you can see on my shop. So yeah, more of that. This background, the background that you see, and I think I mentioned it when I first came in to the live stream. That is actually that's more gel press art. I had created a background and I just fell in love with it, and I ended up using it for a card that a friend of mine bought for me. But I liked it so much that I took a high resolution photo of it, and I've been using it in a lot of my branding. So yeah, here's just it's so you can see, yeah, I do love fairies. So here's a couple of greeting cards. And I like this set. That's actually that was made by Hero Arts. These two fairy cards here. Also, I have since I put those in there, I also opened up commissions actually. And anything you see here can be reproduced as a bookmark. Any of the cards that you see can be reproduced, reimagined, repurposed into a bookmark, and vice versa. So so this bookmark here, this that's actually my biggest seller. So and I also so there's another gel press card there. So yes. So there's that. Anyway, I just wanted to show real quick what things looked like there. Yeah. So yes, things like this, because like I say, I do have some items for writers as well, or if you have a writer in your family, or you are a writer and you want to thank your editor. These were actually I had started to create these for clients, and people liked them so much. I got so much positive feedback that I started selling them. So anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of that. All right. Well, I have a little bit of time left. So what I might do is, I think I will probably use orange. I think that would pop against the purple for that bookmark. Yes, I think I will do that. I also have some dark purple here. So there's that too. That would look nice. I also have like a dark brown and white. And then I also have a very similar color of green and white. So that would look really good too, popping against the purple. Actually, that might be a real winner. All right. So yes, the more I think about it, I'm going to use the green. That will look really well. Really, really well. That will look pretty good, I think. So some things to finish off are going right there. I have little easel here, like a multi um, multimedia easel. Um, I think I'm also going to cut this bit of card down and pop that on a card as well. Um, Now, what one thing I might do? One thing I wanted to do, which I have not gotten around to. But there's that stamp. Is okay. Okay. Is try, and maybe I will do that next time. And I apologize for any uh, any issues I may be having during the stream. I bought my first pot of brush show recently, and I would really like to. I have not yet properly used it. But I opened it. I went ahead and opened it. But it is now staring me in the face. And let's see. It does have quite a bit of green still on it. And this color is called olive green. That might work very well. Maybe what I will do is move some things out of the way real quick. Yes, I did play with it. So let me see here. This was an earlier play with with that purple, and I stamped the cauldron there, but it needs something, and I will be playing with that as well. But on back to the brush show. So what I did recently, I got this palette because to use with brusho, because I'm going to get a set, and because it has covered jars. The jars are removable, but I'm going to leave this in here. Take the lid off. How could I forget? I did actually use it not too long ago. I'm going to set the lid right there. Move a few things out of the way. Move some things around here. what I might do is remove a little bit of this purple. I do still see it, or does that matter to me? You know what? I'm going to leave it on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fan brush, since it is wet, and I'm going to put the rest of this water in here. So that I can rinse it some more. Water off. There we go. All right. Now, pop the fan brush in the pot. Just going to stir it slightly because it's been sitting a little while. Tap. Tap. I'll get a little bit of that off because some of the drops were a little bit big for my taste. So I'm going to just tap it on with very small droplets. Moving something out of the way, moving some things out of the way. Okay. So I'm tapping it with this. Here's what it looks like so far. Now, since some of that is dried, just going to rinse that and apply a little bit of water to sort of wake up the distress oxide a little bit and just kind of make everything move. A little bit more. This is, let's see. There we go. Getting another watercolor bookmark. That will work, especially since a little bit of it got on. So, using this watercolor paper, I'm just kind of gonna dab it on. I'm gonna dab it on some more. And some more. And more. And I'm gonna rub the back a little bit. And I think that's lovely. Okay, do a little more. A little more. Almost makes me think of Mardi Gras with the purple and the green. Except we're missing the gold, obviously. That actually looks quite lovely, I think. That could lend itself to a lot of things. But isn't that green just lovely? Again, it's called olive green. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit more to the bookmark itself. This is highly pigmented, so, but I forgot to put my apron on. But I'm going to just tap some more. yeah, I think that's great. So I have another bookmark, and I can just leave it as is, or stamp on it if I would like. Um, and I can just kind of tap that on gel press, so I can get another, because there's still ink on there, there's still purple on there, there's still green on there, and I think that's going to look very nice. So yeah, these round gel presses are great because you can create moons very easily. And in fact, let me grab something. I'm going to let's see. All right, I have some gel prints that I have made here. Let's see. And yes, a lot of them look like moons. Okay. And so I'm going to look at some of these. Oh, and some of these my son made too. My son and I made them together. Yes, that's what those are in the back here. Some of the first attempts at using gel presses. My son and I do sometimes like to make art together. You can do that too with your kids. It's a lot of fun. I made that. I remember. And that. I keep thinking on what to put. There's a specific Lavinia stamp that I have that I really love. Oh yes, and you can use stencils, and I did not get around to using stencils to show those sorts of techniques, but there's that. I have a couple of those. I should have a couple of those. Yes. So yeah, there's that. I also have like a brick wall type stencil. So that's how I made these. And but I really like how that one came out. I think that would look really nice for a Christmassy card. Oh yeah, so I have lots of planets. And what's great is you can use so many different papers with gel presses. You can use cardstock. You can use copy paper. Yeah, so there's some cardstock in here and copy paper of some prints that I have made. And that looks pretty cool. So I do have a large gel press as well. That was my first attempt at using some masks, stencils. I have this a roll off from my brayer on there that could be used as a background. I have a little bit more time, so yes, so you can use those for things. But I have an 8-inch round gel press, and so I have that. I need that, and yeah, so this is with the larger one, which is I do believe it is an 8x10. I do like some of that. I like this one. Not quite sure what I'm going to use that with exactly. I used the vintage photo, just Distress Oxide a lot of these are inks, but here I also applied some strong green watercolor with it, and I like how that one came out. Here I used, I do believe I used a strong watercolor. Yes, I did. And on this one, yeah, and that's the beauty of it, is that this is ink and using a using a stencil. I did, let's see. There, you can use stencils a variety of ways. These were both made using the same stencil. Let's see. What else would look very cool? Just a variety of things. So yeah, so I also have a folder with watercolor paper, and I really wanted to show that. It's not in front of me, but that's okay. Maybe I can do that next time and show more about what you can do with watercolor paper and felt presses. I think that sounds really good. So yes, these are Distress Oxide inks. They work really well. Again, it's just like this one here. So I'm going to make more cards, stamp on those. There's more. And so that's really a lot of fun to do, and I find it very relaxing. And it's my decompression. It's a favorite decompression activity. Great to do at the end of the day. So yeah, so those are some of the prints I have made in the past. Again, and that's just on cardstock and copy paper. You can also use tissue paper. Like I say, you can use watercolor paper, like I did here earlier. And doesn't that look pretty cool? And I think I'm going to stamp on that and see what I can use that for. So that will be fun. And like I said, I did this last night, and just with that Twisted Citron and the bonus potion. And that looks pretty cool. So yeah. Okay, I've got 5 more minutes. So just to wrap things up, my name is Heather Dewey Pettit, and I'm a writer, editor, and artist. And so this is only a portion of what I do. I know what I started to do. And so yeah, so this is only a portion of what I do, but I find it very fun and very relaxing. Here are some other samples of bookmarks that I have made recently, using with let's see, with these two here. I used Elements ink by Lavinia Stamps, and this was my first time using the moon masks, which I will be using again very soon, and that is one of their stamps on the bottom there. What's the name of it? It's on the tip of my tongue. But don't you love that mermaid tail? So yeah. So I have some that are stamped on and some that I have just left alone. There's another one of those. And yeah, so I find this a lot of fun. And I hope you join me in future possibly live streams. I would love to do more if I and oh, yes, excuse me. I would absolutely love to do more live streams, um, showing some of these processes. And again, this is more of an introductory thing than anything else. Um, and so this was a lot of fun, and I got some things done that I wanted to do. Again, to take to Necronomicon Tampa, and I had a chance to say hi here on this channel. Um, and for now, it's called Heather Dewey Pettit Art. Um, um, and I think it'll stay that way for a little bit anyway, unless I can really think of something a little bit catchier. However, my writing channel, my other creative channel, is just Heather Dewey Pettit. So it kind of works. But any feedback is helpful and accepted. So if you liked this video, this live stream, go ahead and click the like button. I would really appreciate it. Because I think I'm going to start, again, I'm going to start putting things on this channel momentarily. I'm planning on filming a process video regarding using the gel press and stamps and making a card. Sometimes I will make larger cards too, by the way, because I like using 5x7, and I'm growing and I think I've been growing as an artist, and I've been expanding what I do as an artist. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that everyone has a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.